everyone. 10:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So hopefully this signal is coming through nicely. Hopefully someone will let me know while you're watching this. I'm doing this not from my house. My son's he's having his procedure done right now to change out the balloon for his G-tube and getting a little bit of blood drawn. But my mom and Julie are in there right now, so I am doing this while they're doing the procedure. So I decided to do a live because I feel there's a lot of information that needs to be put out. I don't think we should have a lot of people in here this morning because I just did an update not too long ago. So I wanted to do this, and I wanted to put this out. It'll end up being an update style unless we get a lot of back and forth, which honestly, it's 10:51 a.m. midweek when everybody's at work. I don't expect a lot of back and forth here. I really, really don't. I don't know how it sounds, so if somebody could let me know if this is coming in clear or not, because it's not my normal internet, I would greatly appreciate it. So Royal View, welcome, and along with Jorge, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. UK Phil, Mark Caston, and Rob Hokelet, thank you, all three of you, for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. You're good, mate. Awesome. Sound loud and clear. Good morning. Mark says sounds good. Thank you guys for letting me know that. Lee, welcome in. Blessed to see you in here as well. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Robert says good audio. Cheers. Excellent. Excellent. JW, welcome in, friend, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Thanks for that continued dedicated support. That means a lot to me. Caesar, thank you for letting me know about the audio as well as being in here this morning. So this is the way I keep my nerves, in order when my son's being worked on and stuff. I decided to do this live. I literally was 3 minutes, a 3-minute walk from where I'm staying. So I went from the facility. Once he got checked in and everything, came here. And now I'm doing this live for everybody. And I'll get word from Julie and hopefully I'm hoping by about an hour, by about 11:30, I'll hear something. But I appreciate all the good vibes from everybody. So let's go deeper. Right now, we're down about 13% in the last about 36 hours from that 66-cent high. So right now, what it's looking like is we did have a big pull down, right? We can all see this. We didn't hold the cup and handle. We didn't hold the rising channel. So what that leads us to see here now is once we came down below 59.8 cents, we had a bit of a dilemma here because we had already lost this area at 61.7. And then if we just started to stay in this uptrend, we shouldn't have lost 59 cents. So the fact that we came down below it, it could open up the door. Now remember, we have the 2000 from September 8th of this year, we have an uptrend for XRP at 57 cents. So we do have an uptrend right around, whoops, that's excellent, but right around 57.5 cents. Let's do this right now. This comes from right here on September 8th, I believe it was. Right here, September 6th, my mistake. From September 6th, so we technically do have this uptrend. So just pay attention to this. This could be a stopgap measure. And in current times, this is right at, okay, it's a little lower than I thought. No, it is a little bit higher. Hold on, that's not accurate. So, okay, so this is the September 6th uptrend here. Let me get rid of this so it's not confusing. This was just something we drew the other day. So we would know after the escrow, it would just come back down. So basically what I told my audience, and it's not because I hate XRP or because I get mad at XRP. When it was doing this, we talked about how the escrow push up and it would be like it just came back within the consolidation after. And whether that turns out to be a head and shoulders and it drags out like this, then has to come all the way back down to 52, which is actually not a unlikely possibility here to retest 51.5 cents, which is a 2018 resistance that is flipped to a support here as of the last month and a half or so. But we need to see if that stays outright if we were to have a slide down that far. But what I'm seeing here is what typically happens when we get good news about the ETFs. Remember with Bitcoin, remember with Ethereum, how it initially dropped? Well, this brings us into our next point. So there's two things we need to talk about here, big time. So the second part is going to be about how Ripple receives Dubai approval for blockchain payment services. That is huge. Dubai is one of the biggest emerging markets right now. And It's going to be interesting. And then we've also got the Bitwise Files XRP ETF. So I'm going to get a different article because I read this one in my morning update. So I like to keep it different. So let's see what some other perspective is. So this is from 2 hours ago from Fox Business. So crypto asset manager Bitwise files the first XRP exchange traded fund. And if anybody's heard about this, this is big, big news today. Big, big news. So crypto asset manager Bitwise has submitted an initial registration statement to the Securities and Exchange Commission signaling its intent to launch an XRP exchange traded fund. Fox Business has learned. Bitwise, which manages over $4.5 billion in assets, submitted a Form S-1 registration statement to the Securities and Exchange Commission on Wednesday morning. Daniel, good morning and welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. Greatly appreciate that. Making it the first firm to officially seek approval for a so-called spot ETF that would track the daily price of XRP, the 7th largest cryptocurrency with a market cap of more than $30 billion. The filing comes on the heels of Bitwise's recent launches of spot Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange-traded funds, and its acquisition of the ETC Group, a leading issuer of crypto exchange-traded products in Europe. Despite the initial step, there's no guarantee that an XRP ETF could pass the regulatory muster of the SEC. Some applications for ETFs containing Solana, the number 5 cryptocurrency, were recently rescinded with reports citing the SEC's concern over Solana's legal status. Bitwise was not among the issuers to file for a Solana ETF and believes exposure to XRP will be a good opportunity for clients. XRP is one of the most enduring, well-known assets in the space and is also recognized among mainstream investors. Bitwise CEO Hunter Horsley told Fox Business at Bitwise, "We've always aimed to help investors access the opportunities in the space, and we're excited to continue that work with our filing for Bitwise XRP ETP." Thank you, Robert. He's actually getting his procedure done as we speak right now. So fortunately, he's got mom right next to him, and my mom is here, so she took over. Don't want to have 3 people in the room, so I just decided to come in here and do the live while they're getting the procedure done now that I know he's in there and everything's going good. So this is how I deal with my stress. But I wanted to do a live. You know, I didn't get to do one yesterday. It would have been a fantastic live with everything that was going on. But now we're here together now. Nobody expected it. Hell, I didn't even expect to be here right now. Another filing for an XRP ETF is listed on the Delaware Corporation website from Canary Capital, a new crypto-focused investment firm established by Stephen McClurg, co-founder and former chief investment officer of Valkyrie Funds. The website shows Canary XRP ETF was incorporated on September 24th. McClurg had no immediate comment on the filing. For Bitwise, submitting the S1 marks the beginning of a multi-step approval process that could span several months. However, there's no assurance that the SEC will approve an ETF containing XRP given the ambiguous regulatory status of many crypto tokens. This year, the SEC made headlines by approving the first Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange-traded fund for trading on Wall Street, indicating its assertion that the top 2 cryptocurrencies are not securities, which we all know the Hinman deal and yada, 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 which is the main reason why the RLUSD has no limitations releasing on the Ethereum blockchain, which is craziness, but it's got a bunch of restrictions on the XRP ledger. XRP seems to be sliding even more here, folks. This isn't a joke where we're at right now. 58.1 cents. And that should be up to date. Yeah, look at that. We're just sliding here during this live. We are sliding. And if you are watching, make sure to hit that like button. I don't expect... Oh, boy, never mind. I was going to say I don't expect many people here, but there's 86 people here, so that's a nod. You know, there's a lot of people here. Make sure to hit that like button. About 40% of you are hitting that like button. If you want this community to expand even greater and we have a bigger reach, make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. And by doing that, all it does is it shows it in the news feed so more people can find their way here. It'd be spectacular for everybody to get this information while they can. So the regulatory status of XRP, which currently trades at around 60 cents per token, has been hotly contested during years of litigation between the SEC and blockchain payments firm Ripple. After the regulator sued the company in 2020 for failing to register sales of XRP, which is considered unregistered securities offerings, a judge handed Ripple a partial win last year when she ruled that only some of Ripple's sales, the ones to institutional and not retail investors, constitute securities. Got a long in, but keep pushing up back down to support. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It keeps pushing us back to that support, and it's very possible. We need to see that 57 cent, or what is it, 56.6 or 56.8. So, yes, Alexander says, Tom, this is an accurate representation. ETF news. It was confirmed by Bitwise. Absolutely. And that's why I waited until this morning to start talking about it. Last night I didn't talk about the ETF when I did my 15-minute update when I was here and settled in, where I'm at for my son. And but I didn't talk about the ETF because I wanted to make sure it wasn't some facade again like last time. But we knew it was BS last time. This time it seemed different. The Bitwise XRP ETF filing comes at a pivotal time as the SEC's deadline to appeal the Ripple ruling is October 7th. If the agency appeals, the regulatory status of XRP could remain in limbo, potentially affecting how the SEC would view an XRP ETF. Despite initial pushback from financial regulators, Bitcoin ETFs have become some of the most successful exchange-traded products in history, raking in $17 billion of inflow since January. I thought this was a pretty well-written article. I like this one a lot better than the one I read earlier. I really did. I like the way that was set up. Where's the Dow at this morning? It never hurts to get I want to hear what they're saying. So some of you might not be interested in this. I want to listen to this for 2 minutes just because I like to hear all markets, and I want to hear what the national narrative is right now. Assuming it lets me play this.
Invite Disney and Farberware kitchenware into.
I like to see the narrative. So even if it's like this is for the stock market, I still want to see it, the narrative. This looks like it's going to talk about NVIDIA as well. But I want to see the expectation here by the mainstream because they usually can listen to them and do the opposite. So let's just hear what they have to say.
All right, 3 minutes to the market opening. Dow off 14, Nasdaq down 20. Shah Gilani with us this morning. We've had talk this morning about it's a Goldilocks market. Let me reverse that. Do you see any dark clouds ahead for the market, Shah?
Well, the only dark clouds I see, Stuart, are some surprise in terms of maybe PCE this coming Friday as far as CPI. Any of those numbers that we gauge inflation by, if they surprise dramatically to the upside, I think that would throw the markets off course. But right now, the expectation is for the trend in inflation to remain lower to the downside. And I even hear some analysts worry that we may be headed below the Fed's 2% target rate. But I don't see it that way. I think we're going to remain fairly strong as far as inflation. I don't think we're going to see it come down too much. That might be a worry again if we see an uptick. But right now, so far, it's about as close to Goldilocks economy as we can get.
All right, we'll take that. Why did you buy Coinbase? I know you bought it recently. Why did you do it?
Well, there's been so much talk from both sides as far as the Democrats and the Republicans and former President Trump in particular touting crypto in general, that the crypto market is likely to take off if indeed something happens. And I think something is bound to happen anyway, whether the Democrats or Republicans take control of the White House and or Congress, because it's long overdue. There are a lot of forces, a lot of Wall Street forces. There are just a lot of folks that would want to see crypto come to the fore. Not just blockchain. Blockchain is really what's behind crypto, but crypto, as far as I'm going to call it tradable instruments, are in vogue. They've been in vogue for some time. And I think if we get a favorable administration, we're going to see the laws change. And I think Coinbase will be the major beneficiary.
Okay. You bought NVIDIA. Is this the first time you bought NVIDIA, or are you getting back in after selling it?
No, we bought it, we sold it, took some profits, we got back in on a dip in early August, and we got back added more in the early September dip. So, yeah, we're liking NVIDIA here, we're holding on to it. We generally put profit targets in, Stuart, and those are exponentially higher than where NVIDIA is trading right now. But we also put stops in, so if something, we were to see some kind of dust up, we would get out of some of our positions and look to get back in lower.
Okay, you bought Coinbase and you bought NVIDIA. Shah Gilani, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it very much, sir.
Okay, so never a bad idea to listen to some of the other stuff going on around all markets. And then we're going to get into this after, but I want to go back into the charts. But before I leave, I promise, we'll read Ripple receives Dubai approval for blockchain payment services. So despite all of the negativity, despite the price pulling down, which we can't say it wasn't expected because it was. I could expect this maybe in all markets, though. We don't know. But eventually, with what's happening in the ports, what's happening globally, I'm telling you, pay attention to this precious metal side of things. Pay attention to gold. Pay attention to the commodities. If they get a retracement today, please pay attention to all of this because something big is going on, even deeper than we want to say. So it's not just, the crypto market. Even look, 42,500 in pre-market was the Dow, and it's at 42,191. At first we had a little bit of a surge, and now we're starting to have a pullback now in commodities again. We're starting to have a pullback in gold and silver. I think there's a lot of gaslighting going on here. And now you look at XRP, not only did we get the exchange traded fund that's being filed by Bitwise, we know the 7th is going to be tricky because that's the last day for the SEC to appeal. But now we've gotten approval from Dubai for blockchain payment services as well for Ripple. So we're expanding. It's expanding beneath beneath our nose and in front of our very eyes. It's just every time it does, we get this bearish bias and it overshadows what's going on. So does XRP, the bottom line is here today, does XRP come all the way back down to 51.5 cents and come all the way back down to the 2018 resistance that has been acting as a layer of support here for the last several, I don't want to say last several weeks, but I mean, it's kind of has been. We did come around, we fell down on September 6th, but now ever since September 12th, we have not used this as a resistance. It's been used as support. So for the better part of 3 weeks, almost a month now, this has been a newfound support area. Does that mean it might come back down here to 51? It might. It very well might. Now you ask yourselves, where can we go? Well, we got rejected at 59.8, which is the rising channel. Resistance, which is at 63.93, which we couldn't hold. 59.86 is the cup and handle resistance that we were trying to desperately hold as support, but it didn't even manage. We had the escrow dump, which we had to push up, just like we do before every escrow dump. Put in a tailor-made top and reversal, which we were able to stay in front of. And now the fact we came below 59.86, it really doesn't leave much more for the imagination. We've got 57 cents underneath, or 56.6, I believe it was. Let's see, let me put this. Because this is the September 6th uptrend, which you can't skip it because it was put in. It started using this as a data point. So right now we've got, let's see if we come right. 57.07 is that support structure. If it breaks 57.07, but we could come a little farther because of where it's at. Yeah, 56.90. If you lose 56.90, that's not good because if it does something like that, I mean, if it plays out something like this, we can see a head and shoulders here. So we've got to be very careful because that would bring us back down to 52 cent area. Then you ask yourself, what's important about that range? You've got the pattern breakout. Not even close to time for XRP. Hey, I don't disagree with you. I've been talking about 2028 to 2032 for the maximum peak, and everybody seems to get mad about that. But I just tell the truth. I know how to make profit. I know how to trade. I know how to advance my portfolio based on profits made. So I'm looking at this cycle right now, and yeah, there's a very real chance that this can come back down. And you know what's the scariest part about this? If this does break down 52 cents, you're technically telling us we're going to come all the way back down to 40.4 cents if that 52 doesn't hold. So some ask me, are we going to get a better opportunity than this? You know my standpoint. I do not buy XRP over 40 cents, period. No exception. Unless it's something for the XRP Bitcoin pairing because there's a play to be made. I don't buy XRP over 40 cents. And that's been a long-standing thing that I've talked about since I sold in 21. When I bought back in 22 at 28, we sold at 44. And then in 23, we bought at 34. Got to swing some out when it had a massive rally. Bought more at 38 cents. You know, got to have a big swing trade with the XRP Bitcoin pairing with what we bought on top, over 5,000 additional dollars worth. And then, but I keep in my cold wallet. I have in my cold wallet better than, 13,000, 14,000 XRP right now that I was able to add about 30 to 40% more when it came back down to 38 cents. So if it comes back down and gives me the opportunity, you better believe I'm going to take advantage of it in a pretty big way this time. I've got some liquid cash that several $1,000s if it wants to come and give me another opportunity. I don't mess around when it does it. And then if I decide over the top that I don't want to keep those several $1,000s extra and it makes me 30, 40, 50, 100, you don't know how much percent, then I'll just get rid of it. But I never touch the cold wallet, ever. Unless it's a cycle end which we haven't even had a cycle start yet. So there's no reason to even start taking it out of the cold wall and uploading on an exchange. We've got a long ways to go, and it's going to take a lot of tenacity, a lot of testicular fortitude, and a lot of mental fortitude here to be able to navigate this market. I'm telling you right now, there's so many nuances that are happening beneath the surface that if you're only looking at price action, you're not seeing the whole story. If you're only looking at the news, you're not seeing the whole story. If you're only listening to the FUD, if you're only gaining the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, if you garner the FOMO on the fear of missing out when it's already pumping, look what happened this weekend. On Friday, we put out an alert, not just you could buy a spot position, but the leverage trade. And that was at 58.5 cents. We talked about 62.5, and then it would behoove us not to come up to that 63.9 cents at minimum, even if bearish. We overran that to 66 cents. It was a phenomenal weekend, and then we were able to front run the drop because my own anticipation was they're going to rise the price like they always do before the escrow. They're going to dump it. We talked about how that they normally do that, and then with just what they're dumping, those 200 million XRP that would have stayed out of escrow and been sold, even though 800 million typically gets locked up for December of 2027, that was an additional roughly $20 million in profit just on a 5-cent move for Ripple as they dump the escrow. And then it just comes right back into the same consolidatory phase. And we talk about this every single month. The 2 or 3 days leading into it, there's a major opportunity if there's a dive before. And there was. We had a dive on Thursday, a dive on Wednesday. Friday, we consolidated right back down to 58.5 from 61. And it was just a perfect opportunity on the back test. And now we've come back through that held back test. And what a surprise, because now Ripple unloads. You know, the whales follow suit. But what's going beneath the surface here is the fact that we already know about the ETF being filed in Delaware. But what is missing the move here is a lot of people, this happened yesterday as well, but this kind of got underneath the storyline. This has kind of been underneath the news. I don't know anybody who's really talking about this approval. Everybody's so focused on the ETF. How many of you knew about this in Dubai? There's 88 people watching, which I'm eternally grateful for. As far as I know, they unloaded 200 million and they locked up their typical 800 million back into the escrow for December of 27. Now, there was speculation that an additional 250 million might not have made its way back into that lockup. So I'm still trying to do my due diligence, but we won't be able to figure that out for the next couple days to see if there was actually an additional couple hundred million that didn't get locked up. So good. I'm glad a few of you have heard this. True, welcome in, buddy. I'm glad to see you in here as always. This is amazing. Daniel's seen it. Balzac's seen it with his warning as well. But things are going to get a little crazy here in the USA. Like in my state of Michigan, because of the port closure, it'll affect food where I live in Michigan. You know, it'll affect some of these other things. But remember, we don't get much imports from Russia and from like the UK and the US. Like, we're not getting a lot from there. Most of our imports in the USA come from China. That port is remaining open. So, you know, scratch your hand, scratch your back, but you got to figure out exactly the truth because there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. So I want to read this before I have to leave because I obviously can't be here for an hour, but I want to do this for at least another 10 minutes here so I can get the word out. Ripple receives Dubai approval for blockchain payment services. Pumpmaster Flash, the big news here right now is the fact that we had the XRP ETF filing, but we've also had their Dubai approval for blockchain payment services. So let's read through this while we have time. So what happened? Let's see. So the Dubai Financial Services Authority, DFSA, has granted in principle approval to Ripple to offer Ripple XRP to offer blockchain-enabled payment services from the Dubai International Financial Centre, DIFC. What happened? This regulatory decision allows Ripple to reintroduce its cross-border payment services, including Ripple Payments Direct RPD, to customers in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's chief executive officer, said blockchain and crypto technologies are here to stay. With its forward-thinking regulatory approach and clear guidance, for innovative businesses seeking to invest and scale. The UAE is positioning itself as a global leader in the new era of financial technology. Salesman Jeffrey, Chief Business Development Officer of the DIFC, or Salman Jeffrey, Chief Business Development Officer of the DIFC Authority, said Dubai's strategic location and DIFC's robust legal and regulatory framework, built on 2 decades of experience, makes this the ideal hub for international businesses looking to make a lasting impact. Ripple's regional presence in Dubai dates back to 2020 when it established its headquarters in the city. The company reports that over 20% of its global customer base is located in the UAE, indicating United Arab Emirates, indicating significant regional interest in its services. Ripple's principal approval is part of the broader trend of financial technology firms seeking regulatory clearance in Dubai. Crypto.com, a cryptocurrency exchange, received provisional approval from the Dubai Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, BARA, in 2022. Binance, another major cryptocurrency exchange, was granted a license to conduct certain operations in Dubai in the same year. Traditional financial institutions are also expanding their presence in Dubai's crypto space. Standard Chartered's SC Ventures received preliminary approval from the DFSA to establish a crypto brokerage and exchange platform in August 2023. I mean, that is big news. That's big news. Now, one thing I want to look at real quick is if we got any updates on some of the volume that maybe is coming in. So, because we did have a massive change here, and I almost put this in the title. I wanted to see if anybody came out with anything more than what Xi Crypto did, but I haven't really been seeing a lot of coverage on this. So I guess I'll just use this. This is the one I seen last night when I was doing my reading. So XRP witnesses strong market interest as trading volume breaches 1.3 billion. So after experiencing sluggish growth for a couple of years due to Ripple's legal battle with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, XRP has found its right footing thanks to a soaring trading volume. Now, could that trading volume have been because of sell volume, with derivatives volume increasing for short positions? That's just something to think of. Reflecting yada yada yada. With derivatives volume also rising, major price moves could be ahead. The analyst added that the soaring volume was bullish since it signaled an imminent breakout that could see XRP hit the psychological price of $1. See, these are not great analysis. I don't need to listen to the bullish breakout. I just wanted to know about the volume, but the problem with this is they didn't talk a lot about it. So with whales on XRP buying spree, the 7th largest cryptocurrency has been witnessing an uptick. Obviously, we needed an update because anybody could see that this was falling down to at least 59.7 and maybe 52. So I don't know why nobody ever talks about the volume here. Like, we've got some volume. We came down. And now if we could actually get some actual bullishness here with some buyers, because we're not in a bad spot. Like, that's the thing. XRP, to take a shot here, is not in a bad spot. It's just, it's so tough to know. Does it come all the way to 56? Did it do what it needs to do? Because it looks like it's reversing here. It looks like it could have put a sneaky double bottom. You could theoretically take a trade out here for XRP from spot. And let's just say it came down 2.6%. So you spent $1,000, you lose $27. If it comes below here, you could sell, and then you could see if it does make that dip all the way down here. If you're on a leverage trade, it's a little more difficult, but if you're on leverage, there's really no reason to hold it under 56.92 because you got that double tap there. I don't know. I kind of feel like this is an interesting spot. I'm not saying it's a great spot, but if you're trying to take a gamble here, you've got opportunity here if it wants to make this bounce out, because I have seen bullish trading activity too, and that article that we could click on talks about it. So would it be so unwise for it to come back up and retest that 597 maybe? See, this is where I'm caught up. Is it possible how XRP came down here? Does it just come back up and where the hell is this at? That it comes back up to right here. That's the cup and handle resistance. So wouldn't it make sense if it's bearish to get rejected up here around 60 cents again? That's what I'm thinking. So if I was in a trade right now, I would not be in it if you're on a leverage, because that's a reversal candle right here. I would not be in it past. Ooh, that's a big drop. On a 10x trade, that's about 17%. You'd have to let it work, though. But you'd be playing for this move up here at minimum, back up to that 59.8 cents. This almost appears to be an opportunity developing here. Yep, that's what happens, Daniel, if we keep it too tight, unfortunately. Ooh, the 308 limit buy filled for B2 Gold for you. That's a great positioning there. That's a great spot. That's right on the support. Honestly, that's right on the back test. Now, I could be off a little bit because it technically could have come down a tiny bit farther, my downtrending support resistance. But the technical moves out of here. If it holds this consolidation, first target's 390, second is 509. And it's been a very long descending consolidation here for B2 Gold. So I'm very excited about where we're sitting. First Majestic and Fortuna Silver Mines was weird because they both jumped up this morning when they shouldn't have. And it kind of kept it from falling even farther right now, which was an odd anomaly here. Like it seemed like the price rose a couple percent just so that it could come back into consolidation. So we'll see with the growing concerns going on and the growing FUD. You know, the commodities markets, the mining sector, and precious metals are going to explode again. And it's just a matter of time. But something's going on in the very short term. It is high risk. It's a very high risk trade close to support. But just remember, we're also working on this resistance area as well. So we could have come down just to dump out here, shake out everybody. And then right now in the 45-minute, is it bullish? Is it bearish? It's hard to tell because some could say this was not a gravestone here in the last 45. Like that was an inverted hammer, one of those 73 to 78 percentiles, which would make it a bullish setup. And then here would be the continuation of the upside, at the very least to retest that 59.7 mark, and then possibly worse. If you lose this 50, I'm just being transparent. If it loses the 57.58, it's coming down to 56.92. Furthermore, if you're on this candle, you could make it easier. You could put the stop loss at 57.83 as well, instead of all the way down at 57.61, because if this candle reverses back down, it's not a good sign. You're looking for the bullish upward momentum now. So, but it's very, very dangerous. It's a very, very dangerous spot to leverage trade. Spot trading is one thing, but as you know, I don't buy spot underneath or when it's above 40 cents for a reason. From a psychological standpoint, I know that's where it works out best. This is so tough because technically, even if you look at this in the minute, and then I'm going to have to get going here. I got to go back. But, I mean, if that starts to pan out, maybe it does rotate back up. If not, it's going to come down here very quickly. So that's what we're going to be watching for. Either way, make a very educated and informed decision. Video description below and or pin comment. Well, video description below. There's a way to trade XRP worldwide with no KYC or VPN. So make sure you pay attention to that. I appreciate everybody who's in this live right now, but I do have to get back to my son. I want to make sure everything's going good, and but I wanted to update everybody. So have a blessed day, everybody. I'll be back later, and I'll let everybody know how everything goes. And I really appreciate all of you. Have a blessed day, everybody, and we'll talk shortly.